Hi, Ruchita. How are you?
Good, ma'am. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Ruchita. So today, Ruchita, what we are going to cover in this session is we're going to try to see some dashboard actions. I believe you have created dashboards previously in Tableau.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So today we are going to have look at some of the actions. So I already have created a dashboard. And first, let us understand that why do we need these dashboards and why do we need the actions on the dashboards? So what do you think? Why do we need dashboards?
Dashboards are basically visualizations to help the end users understand complicated matters easily, which they wouldn't understand through the data. We just make it easy. We give them a view that they can understand it easily.
Correct. So dashboard has all the important information that the user wants. It's got all the important KPIs of the business. And the best part about, I know all these tools like Tableau and PowerBI that have come up, it has made our life little easier in terms of interacting with multiple charts, which was kind of tough back when we had only Excel in our hand.
Right.
So dashboard really helps us to give an overall in one shot. It gives us a view of what is going on in our business and why we need actions. Because like I was saying, let's say we created a dashboard with 4 or 5 views in it, all related to each other, saying the same things like the one that I've created today. I am going to work on this dashboard, which talks about profit. You're only going to analyze profit based on country, based on subcategory, based on categories, based on segment. But the main focus is analyzing all the data around profit, right? So how does the actions really help me? Actions help me because I can see or I can work with one view and get an understanding of other views, right? It helps me to do something called drilling down in the data. And since we are able to drill down in the data, we are able to find more and better insights into it. Because think about if I have 5 different charts sitting somewhere, I know what is the output or insight of one chart. I know what is the output and insight of another chart, but how do I make all of them work together? So that's where the actions really help us to understand our data. It helps us to get deeper insights and patterns, and we get the story behind the data, which is the very important thing about dashboard. You know, a lot of time I see dashboard being created where people are dumping a lot of charts and views together. But exactly that's not the purpose of dashboard. But when you do too many things on the dashboard, it creates a lot of clutter. And if I am the end user and I'm looking at the dashboard, I still don't know what exactly you're trying to convey through the dashboard. You know? So the important part is through these dashboard, we should be able to come up with some story. Okay, so that's where action comes into play. Now we have 6 different type of actions over here in the dashboard. We have through filters, through highlight. We can go to a certain URL and then, you know, have going to a certain URL means going to a website and then getting more information. We can go to a sheet, which is almost like hyperlinking in Excel or any other software. When you do hyperlinking, we click somewhere and we end up somewhere. That is what go to sheet means. And then we're also going to understand how the parameter change and how the set value works for us. Okay, so today in this session, I would like to only focus on why to use a filter and how to use a filter and how to use a highlight and what are the things that you need to understand that what is the difference between a highlight and a filter. Okay, let's go ahead and look at this dashboard. Now, this is a very common data set that pretty much, you know, anybody who is working in Tableau or Power BI has used. It's a Superstore data set, which we used in our last session also. And what it has, it's got regions, it's got countries, and inside countries, it's got state and cities. And then we have, in terms of our products, we are working with segments. Inside a segment, there are categories. Inside categories, there are subcategories. Now, what I've done, I've created all the views differently, right? I've created this view where I'm showing what? I'm showing country-wise, and I've put sales as a size. So bigger the circle means higher the sales value. And I've put profit in colors, right? And if you look on the right side, my color legend is there saying that if it's darker blue means higher profit. And as in when it goes towards orange and then the rustish red color, then it means it's negative profit. Okay. Same color combination for profit I have kept for my category as well, where I have created category wise what is my profit that is there over the years. And I've also put the profit in colors because I don't want to keep my, I don't want to keep axes and all those things because that creates a lot of clutter. So by using colors only, I can understand whether the profit dipped or it was good. Like you can see in the furnitures, this has become lighter, so it was less. If I see red, it means
it dipped.
It is negative. It was negative. So I know in furnitures in around about April 2013 to about May 2013, we had negative profit.
Yeah.
Again, if I see over here, this is orangish, this is oranges. This also means we have negative profits. But technology, we don't see that orange or the red color anywhere. That shows that it never gave us negative profit. It did give us less profit. Wherever it turns little whitish, it did give us less profit, but not negative. Right? Similarly, I've done the same thing for segments where I can see, okay, segment wise, what's going on. So in segment, we can see home office at multiple places where I had negative. A lot of places I have got negative profits, and corporate also have negative profit. But in this case, consumer is doing good. So technology in terms of category is doing good, segment in terms of consumer is doing good. And then if I look at the subcategory, what I've done, I've plotted my profit, but also given colors to my profit. Okay. So higher, like you can see this bar is a longest. So phones and copiers are giving me more profitability and tables are giving me negative profit. Okay. So this view is there. Now I am able to see overall picture, okay, which country is doing more in terms of profit, in terms of sales. I'm able to get overall picture in terms of category, segment and subcategory. But can I journalize it to all the countries, or do you think each country will have a different behavior?
Yeah, every country will have a different behavior.
Right? Every country should have a different behavior. So one thing I can do is, okay, like in, Tableau, we have a concept of filter. So I can apply filters country into the filter and see the behavior of each country. But again, I'm only looking at one time subcategory, and I will have to, do a lot of manual things and pick a country, look at it. And again, category, segment, everything is in different sheets. So what I've done is I've created a dashboard in which I've put the state over here. This is state. So I should not have written state. This is country wise. Oh, yeah, this is country wise. Since I made it white, hold on. Make it black for once so that I can see it. And this is my country wise profit. Yep. Apply. All right, let's go away. So I've got country-wise profit, subcategory-wise profit, segment, and category. Now, the way we were discussing that not all the countries would have similar patterns. So how do we see how it works? So then we are going to talk about action in Tableau called, I'm going to delete the previous one I've applied. They're going to talk about the first one called filter action. So how did I reach this part? I went to dashboard. Inside dashboard, I have actions, and inside actions, I'm going to go ahead and add action. So once I add action, I'm going to apply a filter action. Now, what filter action does for me is it helps me to make one of the view as a target view, as a source view. And whenever I'm selecting anything on that source view, it kind of applies a filter based on that on other views. Correct. So over here, what do you think should be my source view?
Country.
The country, right? I'm going to call it as a country filter, and this is going to be country. And I'm going to make it on select, not on hover or menu. When I click on it, it should change and apply on what?
Menu does, ma'am?
What is?
Menu option does?
Menu option will open a kind of a, when you right click and a small opens up, right? Like copy paste in Excel, something like that. The menu will show up in which you can select your value.
Okay.
Okay. But again, that is,
we don't need that.
We don't need that because that again makes it a little more manual in nature. So we are going to click on select. We have got all these things. It is going to be clearing the selection will show all the value means what? If I select one country, then it applies filter, and as soon as I deselect the countries, everything goes back to normal. All the values will be showing up. Okay. And I click on OK, and I click on OK. So now let's see how it works. Let's see how Australia is doing. If I click on Australia, you see all the three has changed. Tables are still making negative. I put a legend over here. Max is dark blue. Minimum is this color. Tables is still negative in Australia. But if you see, furnitures did negative profit quite a bit in Australia. And technology, which we saw that did not have any negative profit, but in the year of 2014 and 15, we have seen negative profits over here, right? But furniture is definitely not the strongest category for Australia. Similarly, consumer, we never saw negative profits, but again, we can see multiple instances of negative profit in consumer category. So like we were discussing, it's not necessary that we can journalize it for all the countries, all the view. We have to still drill down into data and see what's going on. Let's look at another one like China. In China, technology is good. Yeah. In fact, office supply is doing good. Furniture is still a
negative profits.
Right. Again, we see the same pattern. Tables are still giving me negative profit. Home offices is doing good over here. Yeah. Corporates, couple of places. Consumer, one time, we had a negative profit. Let's go and look at India now. Now you see what has happened in India. We don't have negative profit.
It was dipped.
But it has dipped quite a bit. Right? Profits have dipped quite a bit. We don't have negative. We are not making negative or anything. In fact, tables are giving a profitability in India, which was giving negative profit for other countries. And, technology wise, we are doing good. What about segment?
Segment consumer is doing good.
Consumer is doing good, right? In fact, overall picture is relatively better than Australia and China. Yeah. But in terms of sales, if you see, sales is highest in Australia, then China, and then India. In sales, India is ranked at number 3. But overall, if you look at the profits, we are still doing better than compared to China and Australia in terms of our categories, in terms of our subcategories and segments. Okay, so this is an interesting side. We can not always think about, always that, okay, if the sales is higher, sometimes people correlate that if sales is higher is a profit, but that might not be the case. Yeah, for each business, what do we do to increase the revenue?
Yes, ma'am.
To increase our sales or revenue, what do we do as a business? What do we apply so that the customer comes and buys from me? Discount, right? We give a lot of discounts, and because of the discounts, our profitabilities might go down. Okay. Right. So this is the thing. So this was an interesting dashboard that gave us insight into our profits based on the country. And now, like we discussed, that in order to increase the sales or the revenue, typically business resorts to discount. So the next dashboard that we will analyze and apply the other action is going to be highlight action. And over here, what I'm trying to analyze is I have same view of the country, right? I've got country-wise profit. But this time I want to analyze how is the discount affecting my sales. Okay. I want to understand how discount is affecting my sales. So how did I come up with this thing? I have plotted discount in the columns, rows in the sales, and I've dropped state over here for the scatter plot. And I've also put country in the detail. Now, why I've put country in the detail? Because I'm going to try and use the highlight action on the country. And I want to highlight the states which belong to this country. So if I don't have this in detail, that connection would not happen. Right? Again, for the colors, I have given profits in the color part. So let's go to our sales and discount dashboard, right? So we can see the blues are the ones where the country and the state within that country is giving us positive profits. Over here, discounts are higher and we are also getting lesser profits. So as the discounts are increasing, my profitability is affected, except for this part, Queensland, where I'm giving discounts, but my sales value is also high and my profits are also healthy. I'm getting some profitability out of it. Not the greatest, but better. Even this is a very good one where I am giving profit, right? I'm getting very good sales value and I'm going to get very good profits also. So this is like the ideal place for my business. Okay, now how do we apply this highlight? So we are again going to go back to dashboard and actions. Now, before I move on to applying this action on this particular dashboard, do you know why should we apply a filter and why should we apply a highlight? Like when should we use either one of them?
Can't hear.
I said, do you understand that when should we apply filters and when should we apply, what do you call, highlights?
So filter basically, as we saw, it basically changed all the views. So it filtered the views completely, and highlight will just what to say? It will just enlarge. Maybe it will highlight that particular options from the other things. It will make it more. I don't know the words. I mean,
it will make it more prominent.
Prominent, right? It will make more prominent.
More prominent, right? So when we are doing filtering, what we are saying, let's say if I have 10 data points and I've applied a filter, I might be left with 5 data points or 8 data points, depending on what was my filtering criteria. But when I'm applying highlight, all the data points remain there.
Yeah, all the
what changes? Yes, what changes is few gets highlighted or prominent, like we said, and few of them will go in the background. Now, why we want to do a highlight? Because one thing is, yes, I want my user to focus on certain points, but I also want the user to have a understanding of how this point is relative to the other points.
Okay.
Right? So it's not that I only want to see, okay, what happened in Australia. I want to see what happened in Australia, but also I want to see with respect to other countries, what is happening in Australia. Okay, because if I want to again come up with a marketing strategy of giving discount, I want to see, okay, well, whether I should make a regional, I can make a region wise discount policy, or I have to go to country level, or it has to be even state level. So again, we can drill down more in the data. So I'm going to go to the dashboard, go to action, and over here I'm going to apply the second action, which is highlight. In highlight, again, I'm going to say highlight state. And what will be my source sheet?
Country.
Again, country. Again, I want to select and have it. And what will be my target sheet? Where do I want to see the effect?
Discount sales.
I want to work on discount sales. So I pick discount sales and I click OK. And I click OK. Now let's see what's the effect. So Australia seems to have the highest sales. Let's click on it and see how the discount and sales is moving. And these lines that you see, these are trend lines, right? So I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cities pretty much lie on the trend line, where we can see as you increase the discount, my sales is increasing and the profits is also increasing, because you see this is the lightest blue and it is becoming little darker blue over here in Queensland. This one is little an outlier. This is exceptionally well. And I do have certain other cities which are giving me negative, different states like Tasmania and Australian Capital Territory. These are still there, but they're deviating from my typical behavior and giving me negative profit. So it might not be a very good idea to, apply the discounting policy on the entire country, saying, okay, this is what is going to happen. So we need to further investigate for Australian Capital Territory and Tasmania why we are getting negative profit even when we are increasing the discount, whereas other states are behaving differently.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Plus, we can see this is not something that all the states of all the countries are following. This is different. right? Because if I remove this, this is the trend line of how it is giving for all the states throughout the country, but it went little more steeper. So that is a different behavior of Australia. Let's look at China. In China, you see the slope has become little less. Yeah. So over here, what we are able to see that discounting is almost negligible. We are not giving discount, but we are getting sales.
Yeah.
However, the profits is not great, still not great. We are not giving discounts. We are putting sales, with sales is increasing, but the profit is not great. They are all light blue. None of them are very dark blue, which signifies maximum. Okay. And as the discount increases, does it have really effect on the profitability? Not really. Okay. And it seems that we have not, except for this UV, we have not even tried to give discounts in much discounts over here. These are very negligible discounts. So probably in China, we can also say that, okay, let's try to give discounts because it shows a positive correlation between discount and sales, and see if the sales and profit can increase. Let's look at India. India's got a nice slope, right? Yeah. Over here, Maharashtra is doing extremely well with, it is responding very well to our profits. And again, we have a lot of states over here where we are not giving discounts at all. And the sales value is there. And the few states at the bottom, they are giving me very less profit, not negative, but very less profit. We can have a different policy for India as well. So this is how we use our, my map has gone away. So this is how we are going to use our highlight and filter actions. Okay. Any questions from you, Ruchita? No. So next time when we meet, we are going to, what we are going to try and do, I'm just going to show you so that we are well prepared for the next one. We are going to try and use the action of parameter and actions of sets next time.
Okay.
And as a result of it, we should be able to create a dashboard which we can control by our icons. So I'm clicking on this icon, I get my subcategory sales as a bar chart. If I click on this icon, I'm getting my line chart with month, order dates, and the sales value. And if I click over here, I'm getting my map. So all this, yeah, this is interesting, right? Icons are something very, very, it has become very important as part of our visualization concept. So using icons, we could have done it with the normal list also, but like, you know, we are trying to make the user experience even easier and better and intuitive. So we are going to do this next time, where we are going to use our icons to create our, use our parameter actions and control our dashboard. Okay. All right, Ruchita, thank you for your time, and I'll see you next time for this session then. Thank you.
Sure.
Bye-bye.